it's time to hunt some Sith. What's up, my comic comrades? Today we're diving back into the galaxy far, far away as we begin our coverage of the ongoing Star Wars Crimson Reign 5-issue miniseries. It's the second series in a larger overlapping Star Wars event. We already covered the first installment with the Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunter series, and you can find those videos right here. We highly recommend you read that series or watch our episodes on it, as it's the first act of this Star Wars miniseries trilogy, and it's really good. In any case, today we're breaking down the first 2 issues of Crimson Reign, and after this series wraps up, it will lead to the third and final act of this story, The Hidden Empire. With all that said, let's see where the story is headed after the events of War of the Bounty Hunters. The comic starts off after the fall with the mysterious voice saying, "Here, I'll activate it for you." Someone else then says, "This doesn't look like the other ones." Well, it's definitely a holocron of some kind, but I've never seen another one like it. It responds to, well, you'll see. It'll answer your questions though. I know it did for me. It then activates with us seeing a character called Archivist, formerly known as Sava Maidlin's son, saying you have accessed this record using the light side of the Force. The dark side would have sufficed. The Force is the Force to my mind. Would you hear the same tale if you reached out from the shadow? Who could say? This is more about you than me. This is the story of a woman named Kira. She goes on to basically say, Kira came from nothing and eventually grew up to rule a group called Crimson Dawn. When she found them, they were killers, liars, and thieves, led by a monster. They remained these things under her hand, but she gave them something the monster had not. She gave them a purpose, a grand ambition, the achievement of which would give the people of Crimson Dawn what they most desired, while changing the galaxy for the better. We then get a 2-page spread of the groups Kira recruited for Crimson Dawn. As we see, they now consist of the Knights of Ren, Chaneth Cha and the Orphans, Deathstick, Ochi of Bestoon, Margot and Trinia, and of course the person telling us this story, Sava Maidlin's son, aka the Archivist. With them all gathered, Kira tells them, "I know a secret. All of you know it too. This is why you are here. Very few people understand the true nature of the galaxy. That it is a prison and all of its inhabitants are prisoners, and the reason for that, the reason is one word. It is the name of our fear. It is the name of our chains. The word is Sith. They are an ancient order, masters of the dark side of the Force. I learned about them from the one who ruled Crimson Dawn before me. His name was Maul. For a time, he was one of them, Darth Maul, apprentice to the only other Sith in the galaxy. There are only ever 2. At his side, he learned of their mysteries, their power, and their eternal ambition. Then he died and was reborn. Not uncommon for Sith, from what I know. Embracing their true selves seems to bring with it great pain, great change. But he was no longer truly a Sith. Like so many of you, he was used, and when he was no longer useful, he was discarded. That is what the Sith do. They take, and then they throw away. In any case, she then shows them a hologram saying, this should be the structure of power in the galaxy. An endless mountain range, many peaks, none dramatically higher than any other. The people who live on them free to climb as high as they can, and all those centers of power contending with and compromising with the others. But the galaxy is not like this. Under the Sith, it's a pyramid, everyone climbing to the same place, pushing others down so they can ascend. And at its peak, someone waits ready to destroy anyone who would dare approach it. The only true free person in the entire galaxy. Emperor Palpatine, his name, his Sith name is Darth Sidious. The name of his apprentice is Darth Vader. They are the 2 most powerful people in the galaxy. They must die so the galaxy can live. Kira goes on to say, I have gathered us together because we are some of the few who know the secret. In a galaxy of countless living unique beings, one man decides how we all live or die. A Sith. He will take what he wants from us now and forever. She then goes down the line telling each of her recruits what the Sith has taken or stolen from them. She then says Maul had a plan to destroy Sidious, but he was killed before he could see it through. I will not make his mistakes. I have the Sith artifacts he collected, and more I have found on my own. I have the knowledge I have gleaned from his aggrieved mutterings, and most importantly, I will not be doing it alone. I have all of you. Whether you seek profit or knowledge or freedom or justice, my plan will bring it to you. We can all get what we want. Just do your jobs, play your part, and we will achieve something extraordinary. We will all be free. Now let us begin. After her meeting with the new recruits, she meets up with the leader of the Black Sun, basically pitching herself and the Crimson Dawn to him, showing their value and saying, we have contacts you could only dream of. If there is something you need to know, a discreet death, come to us. He asks, this would be an exclusive agreement? She says, of course not. We will work for anyone who could afford us, but that will be a select group, and we will never disclose any tasks you ask us to complete. Our complete neutrality is the best guarantee of our discretion and our own success. If we start taking sides, we will make enemies. enemies, but if everyone uses us and comes to need us, then no one will destroy us. We believe a Crimson Dawn could be essential. We also see elsewhere that our two advisors, Margot and Trinia, are pitching Crimson Dawn to other Syndicate leaders, like the Pike Syndicate and Papa Torin. Kira then plants an epic seed with Lord Gudi of the Black Sun, saying, "You saw what the Hutts did above Jakara. Attack the Imperial flagship?" He replies, "Of course. They did it in front of all of us. The fools. Everyone saw it. Rumor has it that Vader executed the entire Hutt Council as punishment," which he did. We saw at the end of the War of the Bounty Hunters storyline. Watch our videos covering those issues if you haven't already. She then tells them, "That's true, but that's not all. My Imperial contacts tell me Emperor Palpatine was furious at the Hutt's betrayal. For years, the Hutts have enjoyed a special relationship with the Empire. They enjoyed protected status in their sector. We have no interest in the demands of a direct partnership with the Empire. We're small and we want to stay small. We don't have the infrastructure. But if there was ever a time to make a play for an organization with a larger footprint, it could be quite an opportunity." He just replies, "Well, that is interesting." Essentially, she lied to him, saying the Emperor was pissed off about the Hutt's betrayal, when we know in fact he wasn't. But she lied to get the Syndicates riled up and start fighting each other to prove their worth, which in turn would piss off Emperor Palpatine because he needs the different crime organizations in the galaxy to run smoothly and not be at war with one another. And to promote this war, she has Chanith Cha and the Orphans attack the Black Sun's Smash Processing Lab. This of course causes the Black Sun to want to retaliate against whoever did this. But it doesn't end there. The Orphans continue their work, sowing havoc among the Syndicates, never allowing themselves to be seen, leaving few survivors, creating an atmosphere of dread and distress. None of the Syndicates knew who to blame, so they blamed each other, their suspicions stoked by the whispers of the Crimson Dawn. Captions in the comic then say, "And so as the Syndicates went to war, Emperor Palpatine took notice. He was displeased. He took action. As he says, inform Lord Vader that he is required." We then learn that Kira has assigned Dark Force practitioners, the Knights of Ren, to attack Fortress Vader. But one of them says, "Fortress Vader, we'll be legends. I just don't know how we'll do it." We then see assassins Ochi of Bastoon and Deathstick prepare for their missions in their own strange ways. We also see the Archivist's role is to be a general advisor on all matters related to the Force and Sith. But it gets better than that. We see the Archivist is looking for the ultimate way to draw out Palpatine and Vader, and we see Yoda on her data pad. That's right, she's going after Jedi Master Yoda to use them as bait, meaning we're probably gonna see Yoda pop up in the series. Anyway, the issue ends with Archivist narrating, saying Kira planned as well as anyone could, achieved extraordinary things, an astonishing woman in 1,000 ways. This is the story of the fall of Crimson Dawn. This story is a tragedy. As we see Kira in a holocron saying, "I really think this could work," but obviously it ended in tragedy. And with that, issue 1 comes to an end. And you're asking yourself, how in the name of Lord Vader does Crimson Dawn plan to defeat the Sith without one of these? There are many lightsabers in the galaxy, but this one is mine. Okay, it's ObiWan Kenobi's. This amazingly high-quality replica lightsaber is made by Sabers Pro and looks and feels exactly how you would expect when we're watching Obi-Wan and other Jedi wield them on screen. This particular design is the Profi 2.2 NeoPixel version of the Obi-Wan lightsaber, which comes with extra bells and whistles. From the highest quality T6 aircraft aluminum hilt design to the incredibly durable polycarbonate blade, this is a lightsaber made for both cosplayers and collectors. In addition to pre-installed features like 22 sound fonts and 12 blade colors, the Profi 2.2 board on this saber actually gives you the ability to add to and customize the saber with new sound fonts, blade colors, lighting effects, and a ton more. It's a beast of a lightsaber, and you could check it out for yourself by clicking our link in the description or by going to saberspro.com/variant. We do want to make it clear that if you're just looking for a simple basic lightsaber that you turn on and hit your friends with, this ain't that. This Obi-Wan lightsaber by Sabers Pro does give you dual and cosplay ability, but it's also a true collectible with a large variety of features. It's not just a simple plug-and-play saber at all. That being the case, you'll need to spend some time with the feature instructions on this one, as switching between the various features aren't as intuitive as other more simplified sabers. In fact, considering how many features it has, the instructions could use some improvement in our opinion. Having said that, this is a high-end collectible lightsaber with a ton of features, so it's really about personal preference. And if your preference is a more basic saber, they have the baselit version of this model that fits that bill. So again, head over to saberspro.com/variant to check out all their amazing lightsabers. And when you're there grabbing one for yourself, use our coupon code variant10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. Now let's get back to Crimson Reign and see where things end up with issue 2. Issue 2 starts off with the Archivist continuing to tell the Crimson Dawn story via the holocron to some unknown Jedi or light user of the Force. As we learned at the beginning of the last issue, she tells us Lady Kira used every tool and technique at her disposal in her Grand Shadow War against the reign of the Sith. Deception primarily. Everything she ever said was a story, designed to elicit the reaction she desired. She lied to everyone, even herself. I am not sure I have ever met someone so alone. But sometimes deception would not do. Sometimes she needed the truth no one can deny. The truth that waits for us all. death. And when you wish to communicate through the medium of death, you need a particular type of messenger. You need assassins. We are then taken to Kira's ship, the Vermilion, where we see Deathstick and Ochi about to go out on their assigned mission. After this, Kira gives Deathstick a data card that holds all the information she'll need for her target. She learns that her target is an heir to not one, but two syndicates. She has taken refuge with a small group of Rebel Alliance fighters in hiding from the Imperials. When Deathstick looks at her on her data card, she's kind of hesitant. Kira asks, "Is there a problem, Deathstick?" She replies, "No, Lady Kira, as long as I get my credits, no problem at all." After Deathstick leaves, one of Kira's advisors says, "The assassins make my blood curdle," and another one clarifies it's because they kill for money. But Kira tells them everyone kills under the right circumstances. Everyone. It's just about how you dress it up. The story you tell yourself. I've worked with many killers in my time. There are three basic reasons people take the lives of others: faith, hope, and joy. Kira then explains herself saying, some people kill in the service of a greater power. Your soldiers, your idealists, your fanatics. Faith. As we see a picture of a Jedi. She continues to say, some people do it because they believe their life will be somehow improved by the death of another. Most who kill for money fit here, as do the Avengers, Revengers, and Power Seekers. Hope. As we see a picture of Boba Fett referring to bounty hunters. She then says, and finally, there are those who simply like it. Joy. As we see Vader killing a rebel, referring to the Sith. We then see Ochi on the mission she sent him on, as Kira explains to her advisors why he does what he does. Saying Ochi kills because he is afraid. Everything he kills is something that can no longer kill him. He's seen monsters, terrifying things, and knows there is no safe place for him. It's why in the past, Ochi worked with Emperor Palpatine. It makes sense in a way. If you're afraid of monsters, make yourself useful to the biggest monster of all. Maybe he'll keep you safe. She then says, but deep down, Ochi knows. It's just a matter of time before the monster turns on you. So when I gave him a way to pass along some of the fear he feels, for once let the monster know what it feels like to be afraid, well, he couldn't say no. As we see, his mission is to kill several royal guards in the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. Kira then tells her advisors and us the readers Deathstick's origin and why she's carrying out her mission. She says, I brought her into all of this for a very good reason. Deathstick's entire lineage was wiped out during the Clone Wars. She and her mother were two of the few who escaped. Almost since birth, she has carried the weight of that knowledge, that she was once part of something larger than herself, and it was taken away. As we see General Grievous and an army of droids take out Deathstick's people. Kira goes on to say, Deathstick kills because she feels completely, utterly alone, and on some level, she wants other people to feel that way too. It's the myth of pain, that sharing it somehow lessens it. All you really end up with is more hurt people. In any case, I gained Deathstick's loyalty with a story and a promise. The story, in this case, was the full truth. Emperor Palpatine was behind the death of her people. He gave the order, and the promise, if she helped me, she would watch him fall. She'll do anything I ask her to do. Anything. As we see, who she's been told to kill is a little girl. Long story short, we see that Deathstick has located the girl she's hired to kill and has anonymously notified the Empire that she's found a rebel base where the girl is hiding. Once the Empire arrives and starts fighting the rebels, she moves in and takes the girl. Meanwhile, we see that Ochi got a very specific poison and gives it to a droid to plant in the Royal Guard's breakfast. After breakfast, the Royal Guards put on the Royal Red Garb, which is kind of cool to see. I've never seen this before, and it's always cool to get a glimpse under the mask, if you will. In any case, once it's on, they make their way to the Emperor, but once he arrives, they all start falling dead as the poison activates. This, of course, displeases the Emperor. We are then taken back to Kira, where we see that Deathstick brought her the little girl. Kira then says, hello, Cadelia. My name is Kira. We're going to be good friends. As she bends down to shake her hand. And with that, the issue ends. I've got to say, I'm digging these first two issues, guys. There are only 3 issues left in this 5-issue miniseries, and I think it's off to a great start. I love how Kira's whole goal is to disrupt the crime syndicates as a way to ultimately get to and take down the Emperor and Darth Vader. Not to mention the big teaser that the Archivist is going to come face to face with Master Yoda. That's more than enough reason to come back for the next issue. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think of the Crimson Reign story thus far? Let us know in the comments. First up for the week of June 8th, we have Dark Knights of Steel issue 7. I keep saying it, but this is the DC Universe meets Game of Thrones, meaning you need to be reading it. Now we have Thor issue 26. Thanks to Odin, Thor now realizes the gravity of Banner's situation and its connection to the mysterious violent incident in El Paso. But when Iron Man's interference causes more harm than good, our 2 rivals face shocking changes that change the stakes of the battle for good. Next up, we have Flashpoint Beyond issue 2. As Thomas Wayne investigates the continuing mystery of the Clockwork Killer, another mystery erupts when a strange inmate within Arkham claims that Bruce Wayne is the only Batman that should exist. Here we have Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor issue 1. When Mjolnir comes crashing through Jane Foster's apartment window, she fears the worst has happened to Thor. As Asgard's greatest enemies, including Hela, Ulik the Troll, and the Enchantress mount an assault on the Golden Realm, Jane must find Thor to save Asgard, even if that means she must once again risk her life becoming Thor herself. And finally, we have Dark Crisis issue 1. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, and now Dark Crisis. The epic event years in the making is finally finally here. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the Justice League are dead. The remaining heroes are left to protect the world from an onslaught of violent attacks by DC's greatest villains. And that's gonna bring today's episode to a close, but if you enjoyed today's video, check out this one right here. And if you like all of our content, like, subscribe, and comment. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.